Hi, Melinda Elmer with Century 21 Masters and the Elmer team. Today talking about what you should be aware of as an adult child with parents still here. Today I'm here with special guest Rebecca Secord from Your Home Legal. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we were just recently talking about this, and a lot of us in this age group especially, we have parents who are getting older and some of them are starting to pass away, and we have to deal with what's left when that's happening, or even if they get sick, right? And that preparation. And I get a lot of calls from people asking me, what do I need to do to be prepared, to be ready? So that's why I thought I'd have you on and talk a little bit about that. What would be the top 3 things somebody wants to be prepared for?
Well, there's a lot. So there's they're going to die at some point,
right?
And dealing with the aftermath of that. And then there's also while they're still alive, what do you need to be as their kid? What do you need to be aware of? The first thing is, let's talk about while they're living. They need a plan. Why do they need a plan? Because as they get older, their ability to do things may change. Maybe they don't have capacity to make decisions anymore, whether they're financial or healthcare. Somebody's going to need to be able to do that for them, whether that's you or somebody else in your family or somebody completely unrelated to you, like a professional fiduciary. That will help keep your family out of court, which is very time consuming, very expensive, and very, very public. When you're in that situation, you're generally you're in crisis mode. Something has to happen. Mom needs to go into a facility. Something's happening with a bank account. Real estate needs to be dealt with. If your parents don't have documents in place to allow you or somebody else to take care of their stuff for them, you're scrambling to try to get all of those things in place either before they lose capacity or through the court process, which you may not have that luxury of time. So that's the first one, is making sure that your folks actually have documents in place to allow their lives to continue going if they can't do things for themselves. The second thing is that if your parents do have a plan, that the plan has been updated, especially if your parents had a plan that was drafted pre-2000s. The tax structures have changed dramatically in the last 30 years. This is a really good time for your parents to go back to their estate planning attorney or to a new estate planning attorney and just have a check. They need a checkup. Your estate plan, their estate plan. This is not a set and forget type of document.
No.
This is something that needs to be updated pretty regularly. And it's because things change. Maybe that plan that they drafted 25 years ago while you and your siblings were still kids doesn't work today because the people that they had in place to be successor trustees or powers of attorney are dead.
I see that a lot where somebody's passed away and they're still in the estate plan and now they have to go down the chain.
Right. And even as you go down the chain, you're dealing with people that are 25 years removed from potentially that lifetime 25 years ago. And then you get to the end of the list and still nobody's available, and guess where your family's going? Right back to court.
Right.
So
don't do that.
No. If your parents do have a plan, just to say, if your parents do have a plan that it's been checked in on recently to make sure that the plan that they had in place whenever that trust was created still works for them today and will work for your family going into the future, whatever this next stage of life is for them and for your family. The third thing that I see is a trust that hasn't been properly funded. And you're like, what the heck is that? And Melinda sees this all the time because people have said, well, I have a trust. It's in my trust. No, it's not. Do you remember that refinance that you did in 2008? Do you remember when your lender said, we can't lend to you in your trust, you need to take it out and then you can put it back in? Maybe you don't remember that, but it happened. And
all
now
the time.
All the time. And this is now we're talking about this while this is still a problem that you can fix. So many times this is a problem that it's too late to fix, at least easily and without spending a ton of money. So this is, again, where you're going back and talking about the checkup to make sure that the plan that your folks have actually works. The other really important thing that has to happen is making sure that the plan that they have works and that the asset that they have are properly titled. And that includes real estate, that includes bank accounts, that includes beneficiaries for life insurance policies or retirement accounts. Those things have to be updated in order for the trust to actually work. So they created this treasure chest for themselves and for their family, but they forgot to actually put the treasure in, or they took it out and they forgot to put it back in.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I see all the time, is that the property or assets that they have or they thought they had in their trust are not actually in their trust, which leads to massive problems later.
And that's something that we can actually help you check. So if you're not sure and you want to see if your parents' property is in their trust and they've done one, call us and we can look it up for you and make sure that that's there, because that's a huge time saver for you, so you don't have to go back to court again.
You know, and it's also a really good opportunity for you to actually have the conversation with your folks about having an estate plan, because you know what? Sometimes they just don't want to talk about it. They did it a while ago, and now it's done and it's out of their mind and they never want to talk about it again. And it's going to be your problem when they die. If you want to know whether or not your parents have a trust, whether the real estate that they own is in that trust, we can help you find out. And that's a really good opportunity for you to facilitate a conversation with your parents to say, hey mom, hey dad, you know, whoever the important people are in your life that you're planning on having to have some responsibility over in the future, you need to get a plan. And here are the reasons why. If you're not even sure if your parents have an estate plan or you don't know how to broach that topic with them, the real estate is a really easy way for us to find out if they've done something and help you talk to your parents about getting an estate plan done so that your life doesn't suck later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's already bad enough you lose a parent and then you have to sort through all of this stuff. And if you go to court and probate, it can be a year, 18 months or longer process.
It's so long. It's so long to go through the probate process, and it's expensive for no reason.
Very.
In California, $1 million estate, which you're like, God, $1 million, that's a lot of money.
It's the average sales price of a house.
It's the average sales price of a house in California. In California, and this is the year 2026, so if you're watching this later, these numbers might change, but $1 million estate is going to pay about $42,000 in statutory probate fees to the executor and to the attorney. $42,000 right off the top. And they don't even care about how much debt is associated with that estate. So let's say you have $1 million house with a $900,000 mortgage on it, you're still going to pay the $42,000 in probate fees for that $1 million asset. That doesn't account for all of the other stuff that your parents own, whether it's personal property or businesses or, you know, bank accounts. All of the other stuff is just going to keep adding up on that probate fee. And this is something that, again, we talked about a little earlier, a very public process. Everybody's going to know your family's business. They're going to know exactly how much your mom died with. This is going to not only expose your family, this is going to also potentially expose your family to abuse, right? Because everybody's going to know how much money is here. Everybody's going to know where the real estate is. They're going to know how much money the beneficiaries are going to be getting. And put a pin in this, if you have kids and your kids are inheriting, your kids are potentially subject to abuse because they're looking for people who are going to be easy targets to get money out of. Trust will keep you right out of that process. It's private. You don't have to go to court to get approval for the things that are happening unless there's fights and you end up in a litigation anyway. But you know, at the end of the day, the trust keeps things private. It also allows your family to move things a lot faster because you're not required to get court approval to do things. So that's probate. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
In a nutshell. Well, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Where would they reach you?
You can contact us on our website, and that's www.yourhomelegal.com.
And you can always reach us at 562-316-2915 or melinda@theelmerteam.com. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe below.